On an absolutely gorgeous evening in the Pacific Northwest, albeit a bit breezy, the leaders of the National Women's Soccer League look to keep their perfect record intact. The Seattle Reign try to make it 7 straight wins to open the season, with FC Kansas City standing in their way. And great to have you with us, everyone, from Moda Health Pitch at Memorial Stadium in the shadow of the Space Needle, along with Leslie Gallimore, the head coach at the University of Washington. I'm Tom Glasgow. Well, it's been a perfect 6-0 start for Seattle. They lead the league in goals scored. They also lead the league in fewest goals allowed. Obviously, they've put a lot of good things together so far.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better start. And when you start to say start, eventually it's going to be they're having a great season. You can't say start when they start to get up into the 7, 8, 9, 10 games played scenario. But it's not been necessarily night and day for the people that watched this team last year. It's just that they've improved in the places they really needed to improve.
A lot of talent on this roster, but certainly the catalyst, Leslie, so far has been one of the newcomers in Kim Little. 5 goals so far this season. That is second best in the NWSL.
And clearly in this league, she's someone that Laura Harvey probably knew more about than anybody else. They like to call her the magician, whatever. She's going to come up with a lot of different names, I think, throughout this season. But she certainly, for the viewer, has been whether you're a fan of the Reign or someone else, a great player to watch. And yeah, Laura knew something that the rest of us didn't, and it's been a pleasure to watch Kim Little so far.
Yeah, that number 8 is great, and FC Kansas City's number 8 is great as well. She was on the Reign roster a season ago, did not play due to pregnancy, but Amy Rodriguez is back with a vengeance, leading the league in scoring with 6.
Well, you couldn't be happier for Amy Rodriguez, a standout player at the University of Southern California, part of their national championship team, part of the national team for a long, long time, in and out of form at times, in and out of the rosters at times here and there, but couldn't be happier for her that she's found a home at Kansas City. And tonight, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Reign. Someone that can score like she can. When you're sitting on 6 wins, everyone, you got a target on your back. She might be one that you have to definitely think might be the game breaker.
Terrific dynamic duo with A-Rod and also Lauren Holiday. She is special as well. Last year, the Golden Boot in the NWSL. Great to have you with us. It's a Wednesday night matchup. The Reign against the Blues, FC Kansas City. Let's take a look at the starting lineup first of all for visiting FC Kansas City, led by head coach Vlatko Andonovski. As we take a look at the lineup for the Blues, in goal, Nicole Barnhart, of course, an outstanding season a year ago. She was the NWSL goalkeeper of the year. The defensive line in front of her, Leanne Robinson, Nikki Phillips, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Nia Williams. In the midfield, Jenna Richmond, Jen Buzzkowski, Merritt Mathias, and Liz Bogus. And up front, and they are a terrific duo, Lauren Holiday and Amy Rodriguez. Your starters for the Seattle Reign, led by head coach Laura Harvey. In goal, Hope Solo. Her defense, Lauren Barnes, Ellie Reed, Kendall Fletcher, Kirsten Dahlstream. In for the injured Stephanie Cox. Kirsten will be wearing number 25. Your midfield, Kim Little, Keelan Winters, Jess Fishlock. And up front, Bev Goebel, Danny Foxhoven, and Sydney LaRue. Great to have you with us for what we hope to be, what we expect to be, really, Leslie, an exciting night of soccer. I think these two teams are very well matched.
Yeah, you know, Kansas City didn't get out of the gates as everyone expected them to based on how their season went last year. I think possibly one of the best tactically coached teams and well-organized teams in the league, and they've certainly started to show that as of late. And I do think coming at this time midweek that they'll be ready to play in this game, and they'll be organized and not give Seattle anything without having to earn it.
Referee tonight, Timon Berry. Vlatko Andonovski telling us before the game in terms of his key and what they'll need to get done tonight to have success. Leslie, one, be disciplined on defense, win the midfield. He admits that will not be easy. and keep possession, control the tempo and the pace of this match?
You know, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think those are all points that are key for that team. The other thing for the Reign, which we haven't gotten to yet, is you know, Kansas City can have some success if the Reign come off a very, very, very emotional win against their Cascadia rival, the Portland Thorns, last weekend, and are able to really put into this game what they need to and put that game behind them.
1-0 victory in Portland with Kim Little scoring in the 90th minute, a dramatic victory, an assist from Bev Goebel. As Seattle ran its perfect record to 6-0. 8 points clear of FC Kansas City in Western New York at the start of play tonight. Portland is at Houston. We should have a final in on that one shortly. If the Thorns win that, they'll move into second place with 11 points.
It was 1-0 late last I checked, so
in favor of Portland.
Yeah, and I think you know, if that result was getting close to holding, but we'll check on it later. I think they're into 2 minutes added time.
Throw in for Seattle. Lauren Holiday deflecting it out. Jess Fishlock, number 10, high energy player in the midfield for Seattle.
Midfield hasn't changed. The midfield is still solid with Fishlock, Winners, and Little. The thing that is in a great way frightening about this Reign team, the speed of Kirsten Dahlstrom you see there getting forward from the left back position, is the fact that Naho is gone.
Fishlock with a low drive. Barnhart positioned perfectly for the save.
Rapinoe has not played in some time. Carmelina Moscato has not played. And they still have been able to do what they've done, particularly off a road trip. I think that was what everyone talked about being the big test, and they were up to the challenge.
The Japanese international Naomi Kawasumi is with the national team and will not be with Seattle for the remainder of May. So she was Megan Rapinoe's fill-in, so the top 2 players in that spot out, and that gives the opportunity to Foxhoven not only getting the start against the Thorns a week ago last Saturday, but here tonight as well.
And the great thing about this Reign team, still fairly young into this NWSL second season, is that there are still plenty of things that Coach Laura Harvey can do to tinker with this team. Their depth, again, they can make some adjustments. There's some versatility. And I think we're already seeing, based on home matches, one, the technical skill and the ability and composure of Kansas City to be able to handle so far what the Reign can throw at them.
Fishlock looking for LaRue.
The thing we want to talk about here right now, too, is the fact that I'm guessing the Reign lost the coin toss. Hope Solo staring directly into a sun that could be there for a decent amount of time here this first half. So if you're Kansas City and you want to play any kind of advantage at any point, you want to kind of try to press Hope and their back line in this first half to maybe come up with something dangerous off tough conditions. On this break here, you see A-Rod.
Lauren Barnes will track it down. Of course, the 2 goalkeepers very familiar with each other. Solo, the starter for the U.S. women's national team, and Nicole Barnhart has been her backup. Getting word that Portland did get the victory tonight in Houston, so the Thorns do move into second place with 11 points. That certainly could be temporary tonight, depending on the result for Kansas City.
I do want to give a shout out. You were just speaking about Nicole Barnhart, Barney as she's known. You know, not only on the national team, she and Hope have kind of mirrored one another in college. She was at Stanford at the same time Hope was playing for us at the University of Washington. And, you know, backup has a connotation that comes with it. And there's a lot of countries and a lot of places in this world that Nicole Barnhart would be a shoo-in starter. She's a terrific goalkeeper, a great coach, a great person, with a great mentality to play in that spot and to have the longevity and the success that she's had. She's an outstanding keeper in person.
Kendall Fletcher with the foul on Rodriguez, and that leads to a free kick coming up for Holiday. A little shove from Fishlock. Trying to get through some very tight passing lanes. Buzzkowski dropping to Richmond, back to Buzzkowski. And Holiday, and that'll be easily handled by Solo.
I talked about it early on, and I really do feel like coming at this time in the season, sitting on the number of wins that the Reign are sitting on, this is a great, great test for them. A very technical team, as you can see, a patient team, organized behind the ball on the defensive side. They don't have a big bench, so if there's a way that the Reign can see to string some passes together and possess against this team and get them running a little bit and wear them out, it might be the key to their success. But Kansas City's an impressive side.
The Blues coming off a win Sunday, defeating Washington 2-1. And it was a terrific game for Amy Rodriguez, 2 goals, named the NWSL Player of the Week.
Just the ability there at the top of their 18-yard box, starting with Merritt Mathias, playing out to the other side of the field with comfort, with ease. You know, that is an area of the field we haven't seen very many teams being able to play out of. They would have cleared that. They would have shooed it away. And not Kansas City. The Blues, they are instructed, you can tell, to have comfort on the ball, patience, and look to play to feet and knock the ball around. And that was a good build-up by them.
Trying to switch it over to the near side for Rodriguez, unable to make that connection. Throw in for Seattle. Talked about Amy and not playing on this team a year ago. That was actually in the direction of Merritt Mathias. There's Rodriguez. Amy on the Reign roster, not playing due to pregnancy. Liz Bogus getting the start tonight, number 5 for FC Kansas City. Did see a lot of action for the Reign last season, 20 appearances, 11 starts, had a goal and a couple of assists in the offseason. Traded to FC Kansas City along with a draft pick with 2 draft choices heading Seattle's direction.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see Liz Bogus being given this opportunity. I think she was someone who, more often than not, she started sometimes for the Reign, came off the bench at other times. A real spark, physically fit, great speed. You know, maybe didn't put the goals away that she had the opportunity to last year, but if she's found her comfort level in distributing the ball and getting in front of goal and making dangerous things happen like she did when she was at Arizona State as a player, she's quality. She's quality enough for this league, and I'm happy to see her land on a roster that's utilizing her.
Let's talk about Seattle's defense just a bit. With Dahlstrom in, Stephanie Cox, member of the U.S. Women's National Team, out. The differences between the 2 styles of play and what Kirsten will bring to this lineup tonight.
And it's not that Stephanie Cox isn't fast. Stephanie can get up and down the line with the best of them. But what you're going to see with Kirsten Dahlstrom is more flat-out speed, the ability to get, and you're going to see a little bit of that. Technically, not as clean as Steph, will turn the ball over, and under pressure isn't as reliable, I would say. But with that, she'll get right back up in your face. She has no problem tackling you. She's physically fit enough to challenge you.
Do a lot of good things. There's Holiday with a dangerous pass in the direction of Bogus after some very nice footwork on the near touchline by Merritt Mathias.
And do a lot of good things, as you were saying. But she, just from the technical standpoint and the composure on the ball and being able to distribute it from a left back position, not a natural left footer, that's where you may see, some things that you understand why Steph Cox, when she's here, is the starter.
Speaking of members of the U.S. national team, you had a good look there at Lauren Holiday, who recently had her 100th cap with the national team. Just a great talent, 22 career goals for the United States.
One of the most versatile players for the U.S. squad over the last several years. She's been moved out into a wide position. She can play as a holding mid. She can play as an attacking mid, and she plays it as a target forward, much like she did at UCLA. Sometimes when your role is spread out that much, you have a hard time excelling at one role, but she certainly is a good enough player to have an impact with that U.S. roster, and she clearly does with this team.
Seattle unable to make a connection in that final third of the field. Here's Mathias. A deflection intercepted by Fishlock. In the 11th minute here at Memorial Stadium at Seattle Center. Just about a 1-minute walk from the Space Needle here into Seattle to give you a point of reference if you're watching back in Missouri and
it took you
elsewhere.
1 minute? A minute?
About a minute.
That's about 30 seconds. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, well, we didn't have to go there with my current physical conditioning. I'm working on it, Coach. Kansas City again looking to take a shot at hope and maybe try to take advantage, as you talked about, of that sun in her face. That shot a little high that time from Buzzkowski, but the right idea.
And if you look at the west end of this field, there are some taller trees right behind the west end goal that the sun might dip behind and take a little bit of that burden off of Hope. But in general, that sun's going to be stiff here for a good part of this first half, and you'd be well served if you're Kansas City to try to get as many shots off as you can.
This is a team that leads the league in shots and shots on goal, led by, of course, Rodriguez and Holiday. Fishlock heading it back. Foxhoven could not get to it. A collision with Holiday, and the foul will go against Foxhoven.
Danny Foxhoven played quite a bit for the Portland Thorns last year, and you see her in the lineup here as you did last weekend. Good physical player, smart. She has great movement off the ball, a great knack and sense of where the goal is. And then as a forward, you like to have her on your team because she knows her defensive role. She's not going to let the back line of the other team get away with much. And as we all remember from one of the first games last year, that the Reign lost, I believe, in a 1-0 matchup, is their center back, Becky Sauerbrunn, made a long run down the field and ended up having a big impact on the effect of the game. And so I think Danny Foxhoven is going to have to keep her busier this year.
Of course, Sauerbrunn also a U.S. national team player. Foxhoven, getting back to her briefly, last season with Portland, 4 goals, 2 of those game winners for the Thorns. So she's proven her ability to score in this league.
And if you were to watch these first, 12 minutes of this game, Kansas City's had more of the ball.
Yep.
I don't know that the Reign, whether they have or haven't, changed their thoughts on what they want to do in possession, but they seem to have gone a little bit longer, like Jess Fishlock just there to Sydney Leroux, a little bit quicker, which, if this pans out, it's not bad to try to test their back line and get in behind. But I do feel like the Reign have been a better possession team up to this point, and they should trust themselves through the midfield and build a little bit more, in my opinion.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of Kim Little on the ball.
Nope.
And so much of what Seattle does offensively runs through Little. So we'll see if they can get her more involved and get her some more touches early in this match.
And again, I'm not positive that's by design quite yet, but we'll see. They do look like they're trying to test their back line. They might see a matchup maybe with Williams and LaRue that they like, that they want to try to test that back line early. And early in the game, if you're going to do it, that's a great time just to see what the speed matchups are like. But up to this point, the Reign, to me, have been outstanding in ball movement, outstanding in possession. And I think these two teams, possibly, to me, top to bottom, the 2 best technical teams in the league. I'd like to see them both put the ball down and play as much as they can.
There's Bogus just outside the 18. Shot deflected. Good job that time by Seattle defensively. Bogus had a pretty decent look, but no threat that time to Solo. Seattle allowing just 2 goals this season, just 1 in the run of play. And that's a vast improvement for a club that last season did not have a single shutout.
Yeah, and just the I haven't seen that statistic yet, but the number of actual shots they're facing has decreased by a great amount. So, teams, they had a hard time scoring. They couldn't hold the ball as well up front last year. So teams would just collapse on their midfield and on their back line, and it was just hard to sustain that kind of defending for that amount of time.
Buzzkowski taking out Winters with a tackle. Ball played to Lauren Barnes. Kendall Fletcher for Foxhoven. And here's Kim Little. One of the few touches she's had so far.
That's what needs to happen. She needs to get on the ball, set the tempo. They need possession in the front half of the field. Things like that. You start to possess the ball in the front half of the field, you draw a foul, you get a free kick, you start to be dangerous. And the Reign have proven through 6 games that they're capable of doing that, and that should be a game plan I see them execute more often than not, regardless of who they're playing in this league.
Kim Little, a member of the Scottish national team, played for Laura Harvey with Arsenal. Take the free kick. Deflected by Fishlock. Here's Keelan Winters with the left foot. The ball in, and the goal for Seattle, Kendall Fletcher.
The Fletcher flip.
Second goal of the season for Kendall Fletcher from our angle. I couldn't tell if maybe that ball had gone off her arm, but clearly the ruling was it was good.
I think it possibly hit her and then went off the FC Kansas City player. Oh, logo. Either way, the way that the Seattle Reign are executing restarts this season is also night and day to last year. The fact that there were some runs on the other side and that Keelan Winters was able to pop off to the left side and be almost open in a 1v1 position to hit a ball that they followed up on that caused trouble for the FC Kansas City defense and resulted in a goal is a testament to how much they've trained their restarts.
Holiday working hard against Dahlstream and earning the first corner of this match for the Blues. And it's Holiday to take the corner. Goal coming in the 17th minute. Cleared out by Fishlock. And the flag is up. Offside on Holiday. Warren does not agree.
Yeah, that was interesting to say the least. And sometimes even though they're painted over, when you see those football lines on there, when I look towards the middle of the box, I think she might have been on the other side of her defender, but there's a whole slew of people across the line that looked either they dropped really quickly or she was possibly on. But either way, not going to happen.
Here's Little with some room to operate. Toward LaRue.
That's a handball.
That is a handball and a penalty kick coming up for Seattle. Unfortunate circumstance for FC Kansas City.
And that was Merritt Mathias there doing a great job of getting the inside track on Sydney LaRue, but when you're that worried about someone with that kind of pace, and that's where you see Kim Little do her best work. Open space, running forward, attacking out of the midfield, driving at players. Anything can happen, and she plays a great ball over towards Sydney that ends up being deflected as a handball.
Little has one goal from the spot this season, looking for a second. And Nicole Barnhart trying to make herself look as big as possible. Little, the shot in the goal.
You know what? Nicole Barnhart made a great play on that PK, about the best she could have done, but what a strike, and she buried it. And this is what great teams do. You feel like you're hanging with them, you have possession, and all of a sudden at the 20-minute mark, you find yourself 2-0 down, and now this FC Kansas City changed their tactics to try to get back into this game.
Well, a lot of time, and obviously the risk is if you get more aggressive and push forward more aggressively, well, you open yourself up to counterattacks.
Yeah.
So a match that really at the best, from a Seattle perspective, somewhat even, although I think a slight edge in terms of possession for FC Kansas City changes dramatically with 2 goals in a 2-minute span.
Yeah, one off a restart and one on a Kim Little, drawn handball, so to speak, in the box from great attacking. And I would say that that's what it would behoove Kansas City to do. They have been decent, and I would say above average in possession from their back line and their midfield. It's the idea of getting more aggressive in the front half of the field. And again, with the sun in Hope's eyes, trying to get something going as far as driving at Seattle's back line and creating something. And there's no more, there's not a better time to try to do that than now when they're down 2-0. They've got to up it.
Holiday's pass taken away by Fishlock. Taken right back by Buzzkowski. Sauerbrunn. Good ball movement on that back line. And Fletcher positioned very well.
I think that was Leanne Robinson trying to play a ball in behind, and well, she didn't play it in behind is the problem. She played it a little bit too much into the path of the defender. They can't be exact and try to get it in defeat. They have to figure out with the Reign where the space is, either between their backs, over the top of their backs, or try to play up, back, and through with their midfield players like Lauren Holiday, and try to get them broken down a little bit, but they've been very solid between Keelan Winters and their back four. It's been tough going for them to penetrate.
Fishlock fouled by Richmond. Free kick coming up for Seattle. Quick restart, LaRue. Sydney LaRue with just 1 goal this season, and I think that has to some degree concern teams. Bev Goebel trying to make a run at that ball, but Barnhart there with the save. With just 1 goal for Sydney LaRue, and you've got a Reign team that's 6-0, and I think the other clubs around the league are waiting for Sydney LaRue to have some breakout games in terms of the offensive prowess we know that she has. So, sleeping giant a bit up front for Seattle.
It is, and I almost think it's a better situation to be in the situation that Sydney's in than the opposite, where your team's not winning and you're not scoring goals. Clearly the goals on this team can come from multiple places. She's played in here.
Here's LaRue. The left foot. Couldn't get the power on it she wanted.
And I think that's what I'd like to see Sid have a little bit more confidence in now is, you know, that's a ball that clearly gets played behind. She's as fast as they come. She's got a great burst. She's on the left side. Take that ball down, face your defender. You know, try to get yourself a better angle. She can score from tough angles because I've seen it happen. She and Alex Morgan are very similar that way. But at the same time, there's no need to rush that right there. You're up 2-0. Work on finessing a ball. Get the ball down and take on in the box. Maybe draw a foul. Get past her and get a better angled shot than the one she just got. She does a lot of running to come up with just that on the end of it.
It seems like as this ball's played up ahead to Ellie Reed, well defended by Leanne Robinson. Out to Bogus. And a foul against Seattle. But Leslie LaRue often, Sydney, when she gets the ball on the left, will go to the left and shoot with the left foot. Does she need to work on developing the threat of bringing that ball back to her right foot and taking that shot?
Anything to just get her hips squared up and facing towards the goal to beat a player to the left or right. Beat her left and get in line and slot it into someone or get a shot off. Take them to the right, but just something that mixes it up so that when, again, you start playing these teams over and over again and they're scouting you and they see your habits, is that you have different tools in your toolbox to be able to beat them. They don't know what's coming. The other thing, you know, and I don't know, again, the Reign have been in a 3-front, more traditionally stay on their side and as a target forward and a right wing and a left wing. And at some point in time, I don't think it would hurt them to, you know, make dicing, slashing runs across and switch spots. Just even in the run of play when the buildup happens in the midfield. So, again, they have a lot of weapons on this team, and the great news is that even though Sydney's only had 1 goal, she's added a lot to this team, and she's tough to defend, and their team's winning without her scoring once she starts scoring.
Here's Williams, deflected by Barnes. Holiday plays it out to Robinson. Buskowski, and taken away.
Well read by Fishlock.
Bev Goebel kicks it out. It was Bev, and there was a little confusion as to whether on the winning goal Kim Little had on Saturday in Portland, if that was a deflection, a giveaway, a direct pass by Goebel, and it was ruled a direct pass. Bev confirms that she did make the pass, so she got the assist on that game-winning goal against the Thorns.
I think that's all fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, I think the 3 points is what they care about.
Exactly. 6 matches, the maximum 18 points for Seattle coming in. And that 6-game winning streak is an NWSL record. And I believe, Leslie, it is a record in women's professional soccer in this country. I went back to the WPS. I found their records. It is in comparison to that league, but in terms of the WUSA, the first incarnation of women's professional soccer in this country. Could not find any of their stats.
So, Tom,
so I'm going a little bit on faith.
Here's what we're going to do. We always say this. Let's just go with it. And if it's not true, someone will chime in and tell us.
Well,
so let's just say,
I hope they do if they know one way or the other.
Let's just say it's the truth, and it sounds like a great statistic to me, and we're going to go with it and say that they've set a record.
I gave it the old college try on the internet trying to find that information.
You're a better person than I. I would just say it and, you know, wait for someone to tell me I'm wrong. But I I've been pleased for the Reign because we all know last year it didn't start out this way. And we've talked a lot about the work Laura Harvey's done in the offseason, putting this squad together and again, improving them in the areas they needed to improve, how she kept the chemistry of this team good even when they weren't winning games at times last year, and it's fun to see.
Ellie Reed with a throw in for the Reign. Nice crowd here tonight on a weeknight.
Beautiful weeknight.
A growing fan base here in Seattle, one that also includes the quarterback for the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson was in Portland and at the match on Saturday, tweeted about the victory after the game.
Not only a fan, but a roadie.
Yeah.
A traveling fan.
Well, and here's what was interesting: when Seattle was recently back in Washington taking on the Spirit, on their flight back, guess who's on that flight? One Russell Wilson.
There you go.
And Mariah Nagara, member of the Reign roster, saw Russell tweeted him. He tweeted back. They got that whole conversation going, and Russell's a huge fan of soccer, and
he really has no time to sleep because I swear there's like 10 of him. He's everywhere. I don't know how you can be taking pictures all day at Children's Hospital and at the same time attending other sporting events and supporting your local professionals, but he manages.
Usually sends out his first tweet every morning between 5 and 6 a.m. with a no time to sleep.
I love Russell Wilson. He just makes me feel bad about myself, however, so I don't know.
Don't think about it too much. There's Bogus. 1v1 trying to break down Reed. Does a terrific job.
Here you see the pace of Liz Bogus.
And Bogus, left-footed shot. Pass, not quite sure. Holiday was there, I think, wanting a delivery from Bogus, didn't get it, and a missed opportunity for FC Kansas City.
It's a little bit like Sydney Leroux at the opposite end of the field. You expect more from players of that quality. Liz clearly does a great job with her pace of getting by, making a move, and getting towards the end line. She needs to make one or two decisions there. You either get it all the way to the end line and drive in and pick somebody out on the ground with the pass if you've beaten your defender, or you put a ball maybe far post if someone's open, or get a shot off yourself. There she kind of went in between and didn't serve her well.
Matthias coming out of the pack. Rodriguez playing it back to Holiday. Buskowski. Bogus. A little strong on that touch. Robinson. Ellie Reed with the defense on Robinson. And well done by Reed to play the ball out, throw in for the Blues.
Leanne Robinson's a smooth player. She does well with the ball. She does well getting forward. She's composed. If you watch this Kansas City team, I think he's done a great job in 2 years of, you can tell, selecting players that are players he likes. I mean, they play the way he wants them to play. They're
LaRue is onside. The pass from Fishlock. Sydney to the left and misfiring with a left foot. So how'd she handle that situation?
It's a little bit similar for me. You know, it's a little bit rushed. She's you know, maybe 16 yards out. I think she can do better to push the ball past the player on the inside, get a better angle, or get by someone on the left and slot one back, or put herself in on goal. I think she's just rushing it a little bit too much. She did give a thumbs up for the great pass, though, which I love to see. Sid's got a great attitude, and she's going to keep working towards putting some in the back of the net.
Robinson had the right idea, trying to make the connection to Holiday, just didn't execute the pass. The throw in for the Reign. Fishlock getting it back from Goebel. Looking for LaRue. And the collision with Barnhart. Well played by Nicole. She is a bit shaken up. That's the price you pay sometimes for playing that position.
Oh, no doubt.
Terrific job by Nicole Barnhart.
She's had her fair share of knocks. She's a physical anomaly. She's been through the ringer and has hung in there. She's, you know, for the number of games and caps and everything else she has under her belt, she's done a great job of keeping herself fit.
One of the players that helped Kansas City really sweep the postseason awards after the inaugural season of the NWSL, with Holiday being named MVP, Nicole Goalkeeper of the Year, Erica Timrak Rookie of the Year.
They're a fun team to watch. And again, you know, you think about it, a restart, a handball on a through ball, and 2 goals for the Reign. You can tell by the composure of Kansas City, they're not counting themselves out. What they don't want to do in the next 15 minutes is put themselves down 3. Then I think it's going to be not within reach. But if they can stay composed and work to get 1 before the half, this will be a challenge for the Reign.
31st minute here in Seattle, a 2-0 Reign lead. Richmond, Matthias, and LaRue looking to counter. Sydney LaRue with the right foot this time in the shot. Deflected, and Seattle will have its first corner of the match.
Great job cutting inside there and gets a deflection for the corner. Mix it up a little bit. I think, you know, worked to give herself a better angle and got something out of it, which is great to see.
When the season started, Megan Rapinoe handling the corners for Seattle. Megan with the foot injury, and we're not quite sure when she'll be back. She is doing some running on the foot at the same time. Then you'll see her on crutches, trying to give it some rest, getting treatment, getting iced. Kawasumi then took over this role, and now Little. Played back to Kim. Far post, Fletcher with the header. LaRue with the header.
The amount of quality in Kim Little and what she does in the game is, it might go unnoticed by the naked eye or by the lay person, but just to bend that ball into a runner so that they can head it on goal and not to overhit it. She laid it up right at the far corner of the 6 and gave her team a chance to put that on frame. It's just, it's something you don't see with every player.
Richmond. Barnes with it for Seattle to Fishlock. Very nice touch to Keelan Winters. And Keelan with room. Far touch line to Ellie Reed. Foxhoven off target there, and Leanne Robinson gives it right back to Seattle and Kim Little. Dahlstream. Seattle with a lot of possession. Is trying to find some room to work with, and there goes Fishlock trying to chip it up to Goebel. Buskowski out to Bogus. Played ahead, looking for Matthias. Nice touch by Dahlstream, back to Solo.
Yeah, good read by Kirsten Dahlstream, and her speed got the inside track there, and Matthias screaming for the ball, kind of letting on she was making the run. Didn't hurt the fact that she could get on the inside of her, but that was well played by Dave, as her nickname is, on the team, and she does well to trust Hope just on a ball back. With 10 minutes left in the half, it's going to be interesting. And again, I think this game's a different game if Kansas City tries to get 1 back before halftime. You see them being extremely patient, playing the same way they've played from the beginning of the game to now, which is trying to possess it and move the ball from the midfield, or from the back line to the midfield, and build their attack with numbers. They haven't really tried to open things up by going over the top or through or too direct. They haven't really pressed defensively too high to try to force a turnover from the Seattle Reign back line. So I think they're just kind of sticking with the game plan and, you know, trusting that that'll result in an opportunity and a goal for them before the half.
Winters ahead to Foxhoven. Little on the ball to Reed.
All right.
Fishlock.
Here we go. Here's a shout out online. Star City fan in the WUSA, the Freedom won 7 regular season games in a row.
Good to know.
But that was split between seasons, and they lost the 2002 final. So
split between seasons.
Yeah.
I don't count that.
Say, there you go.
I understand it counts.
I told you it'd show. I told you it would
single season.
I told you it would show up on Twitter.
Thanks for the information. We appreciate it.
And thank you for retweeting it, Sarah Gerke.
Dahlstrom. And defensively, Becky Sauerbrunn right there for FC Kansas City. Richmond showing nice patience. Sauerbrunn.
Here's my friend, the wild, crazy dribbling center back. Here she goes. Telling you.
Matthias.
I don't know if Matthias was on the same page, but we know when Becky goes and she makes an overlap to the right-hand side, you give it to her.
A-Rod putting some pressure on her U.S. national team teammate, Hope Solo.
The U.S. players just back from a friendly, can you see my quotation marks, against Canada.
Yes, nothing
and,
really friendly about it.
A 1-1 draw in what arguably was not the most attractive game to watch from beginning to end. The U.S. still without a named head coach. Players, most of whom are in the middle of their pro season. So, but it was it's always fun whether it's a clean game to watch or not, just because of the rivalry and how much is at stake for both teams. And
any guess on when we might see a decision made on that head coaching spot, whether Jill Ellis keeps the job or someone else gets it?
If I were a betting person, they have games against France coming up, and I would say within the week. It's got to be within the next 4 or 5 days would be my guess. One of the things that I've kind of thought to myself, and the way U.S. soccer works, is from a media standpoint, with Coach Klinsmann just naming his 30-man U.S. roster that came into camp pre-World Cup, that they didn't want the announcements to come too close to each other.
Gotcha.
So they're probably waiting a few days to let that kind of rest with people and before they name the full team coach. But I think everyone's certainly excited to see who it is, nobody more so than the players, so they can kind of put their boots back on, lace them up, and get going for the new person.
A month away from the men getting things underway in Brazil for the World Cup, and of course 2015 the women will be in Canada, and that would include, of course, barring injury, Hope Solo playing the ball out to Lauren Barnes, Lou Barnes. So, Leslie, does Kansas City need to put, they're not putting a lot of pressure on this Seattle back. Do they need to do more of that?
I mean, it's not whether they need to or not. It's clearly, and again, it's what impresses me so much about their team. This is how they've been coached, and, they don't think 2-0 is insurmountable. They're on the road. They're playing against the best team in the league. There's no panic to them at all. They're going to continue to play and try to generate a goal out of the way they play. Now, they've got 5 minutes and a full half left.
Maybe an opportunity here. Holiday. Rodriguez, terrific run, played out nicely to her. Barnes with the defense. Matthias trailing. Headed out, it'll be a goal. Check it, a corner kick.
And again, a great break there. They recognized the numbers were good and they went on the counter. And I just think that there's something about this team when you watch them. They don't panic, they're composed, and they've gotten more results here as the season is worn on. And you just get the sense that they're well coached. They know what they're doing, and they know when and where they're going to decide to press and try to get one back. And they've decided at the 39-40-minute mark isn't it. They're going to continue to play the way they're playing and try to generate something out of that, which they have.
Holiday headed out by LaRue. And Lauren will track it down. Richmond flicking it ahead. And Little boots it out. Mira Matthias with a throw in.
Something about their kit and their jerseys, I keep looking to see that, the captain's got they all look like they have captain's bands on, which is kind of a cool idea.
Dahlstrom playing it back.
Dahlstrom has no problem wailing one back at Hope.
She doesn't.
She's
want to make sure she's staying involved.
She's very comfortable smacking one back there. I think 2 of those 20, 30-yard balls back to her now just kind of on the fly. I think Hope's now ready for them, so that's good.
Bev Goebel tripped up. Free kick coming up for the Reign. Bev Goebel on loan to the Reign, along with Naomi Kawasumi from Kobe, Japan. And again, Kawasumi with the Japanese national team right now. Bev Goebel with a goal, 2 assists so far this season. Throw in for Kansas City.
I would say if anyone's been a little bit quiet in this match, it would be Bev Goebel.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the difference is that you've got Danny Foxhoven playing in the middle as more of the target, where I think that's probably a bigger strength of Bev's, not that she can't play out on the wing. And that's where with this threesome, with Sydney, with Danny, with Bev, that maybe you want, and so you see Sid in the middle of the field here. You just see them maybe with a little bit more mobility and a little bit more interchanging up front to give Kansas City a few different looks. And to get Bev on the ball more.
Bev Goebel played collegiately at the University of Miami. 15 goals, Golden Boot winner in Japan last season.
Yeah, she's been my favorite. Had never seen her play or really heard much about her until now. Player to watch, and certainly off the field, a lovely, lovely human being, just a sweet person to talk to. I can only imagine an outstanding teammate, hard worker, and I think, you know, great for Naomi Kawasumi to have as a teammate and someone she's familiar with here in the States when her English is okay but not great, and someone that she's played with.
Her English is a lot better than my Japanese.
Well, her English is probably a lot better than she lets on, much like Ichiro. I've talked about that before. I think they only speak it when they out of necessity, just depending on what the circumstance is. But another outstanding teammate and really super nice person.
In the 43rd minute, Seattle with a 2-0 lead. The goals coming 2 minutes apart. In the 17th minute, Kendall Fletcher scoring. And then in the 19th minute, Kim Little with a penalty kick after Merritt Mathias was called for the handball in the box.
This is the kind of thing, just the mobility. Danny Foxhoven a little bit stiff on that pass there, but trying to find Kim Little underneath. Ellie Reed cutting inside with that pass.
What a great play by Rodriguez.
This is A-Rod's spot over here on the corner of the 18, and that's got to be a call. Yep. Yeah, there's no question about that. I mean, you're going to give that all day, and that's where it's dangerous. When you drive at players and you go towards the end line, that's her spot over there. She loves to go down the left-hand side and cut in. And again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the correct call. And, you know, the pressure put on Goebel due to the pace of Rodriguez on display.
There was nothing on Bev's part that was, you know, nasty or dirty or, you know, but you're going to have to try to defend her. If you let her go, she's going to probably get on the goal and have a shot. But she did what makes you dangerous as a forward, which is drive towards the goal as quickly as you can.
So Lauren Holiday looking for her 2nd goal on the season. Solo will try to deny. Cannot, and Kansas City right back in the match just like that. The goal coming in the 44th minute by Lauren Holiday.
And what I was trying to say, and, you know, Laura will, I don't think she'll necessarily laugh at this afterwards if she hears the broadcast again, but, you know, that ball that Danny Foxhoven tried to find Kim Little with underneath, she hit it a little stiff, and it was a quick turnover, and Kansas City did well to counter very quickly off it because Ellie Reed had just made a run inside and people were mobile and moving and interchanging positions. And with that said, when you're going to take those kind of risks and send people forward, you've got to make sure that you've got those defensive spots shored up and that you're filling holes. But, and again, a little bit of an unfortunate giveaway, not intentional or.
Seattle will have a corner. LaRue was being targeted. So we are in the 45th minute. Little to take it. Foul on Seattle may have been Winters or Fletcher. 1 minute of added time here in the first half. Wouldn't Kansas City love to get one more in the next 60 seconds to even this match, but they are certainly back in it thanks to that Holiday PK.
Yeah, and they did a great job of generating that goal. A-Rod right down the line, driving with her speed.
This ball targeted for Bogus.
And again, I could probably save this for halftime.
Crossing, nice job by Bogus to get that ball into the box.
Ellie Reed versus Liz Bogus, Utah versus Utah. But what I've been ultra impressed with, and as you watch their thin bench get up and their coaching staff get up to walk in for halftime at 2-1, well coached, well organized, and the biggest thing I could say for any viewer watching both of these teams, it legitimately looks like professional level soccer with the composure, the tactics, the technical ability, even going down 2-0. You didn't see any panic on Kansas City's side. They continued to play the way they wanted to play, and it'll be really, really interesting to see how both teams adjust at halftime.
3-3-1 record-wise coming into the match. FC Kansas City. Seattle hoping to run its perfect record to 7 wins in 7 matches. 2-1 Seattle at the break. It's great to have you with us on this Wednesday night. Kim Little, of course, we've talked about her contributions to this team, certainly, and it's early. We're just about 25% into the season, but an early candidate certainly for MVP with what she has meant to this team. A Scottish international, played for Laura Harvey over in Arsenal. Those are some of the basics with Kim Little, but we want to get to know her a bit better. We thought you might as well. Here's Scott Levy, Levy Films, getting to know Kim Little.
I'm Kim Little. I am from a pretty small country called Scotland, from the United Kingdom. I grew up in a pretty small village in the northeast of Scotland in a family of 5. I have an older sister, Judith, and a younger brother, Ewan, so I was the middle child growing up. I see through your pettiness. I'll be broke instead of I think the competitive side of me has always been in me. I've always, wanted to be the best or wanted to win, in everything I did, and I can always remember that. And still now, I get the same feeling. I want to win in whatever I do. Now you're paying for it. I lived away from my family, as in my mum and dad and siblings, for 6 years, so I'm used to that almost, not seeing them as much. So that's not almost that different, because I wouldn't see them, every week, even if I was in London, although I'm a lot more miles away from them. My boyfriend still lives in London, so I miss him a lot. His family are all from that area, so yeah, that as well. I'm still quite young, and I think it's quite different in the States. I was able to play for my national team from the age of 16, so I've played, I think, almost 100 caps now for them, which I know is very different here. The players can't play until they're finished college, or most of the time it's like that. And to be able to play in an Olympics, a home Olympics, you think about it sometimes. I see through your pettiness. I'll be broke instead of rich. You leave me penniless. Still I make sense of this. One day I'll be walking to America, especially to live here for the first time, everything seems like there's 10 times more of everything. So the supermarkets are bigger, there's more food selection, there's more, things to do. I think Seattle especially, there's, a lot of things to do too.
Now, how long have you been with your boyfriend?
About 3.5 years.
That's got to be a little tough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Has he ever been here?
No, he's coming out in 2 weeks actually to visit. I'm extremely excited for him to come out and just to share Seattle with him.
How long is he going to be here?
About 3 weeks. And then he's got to get back to London.
What does he do?
He is at university just now, and he plays semi-professional football in England.
I see through your pettiness. I'll be broke instead of rich. You leave me penniless. Still I make sense of this. One day I'll be walking through the door. I see through your ugliness. Two-faced stubbornness. What I lost because of this. You give me trouble when I breathe. One day I'll be walking through the door. Push through the emptiness. I swear you don't exist. It's all for this heavy bliss, but some of us never find our way. One day I'll be walking through the door.
Oh, but the time, the feeling of your body when you're doing things is not nice, pushing yourself, but knowing that you can do it and the feeling after, just makes me want to do it again and again. And I think, that's definitely from my dad especially, but just from, being in a pretty sporty family and having that kind of upbringing.
What about juggling? Did you ever spend hours juggling the ball yourself?
Yeah, that's another, I would go out and, train fitness. I would go out and take, the football out as well. And just keep you up in the garden or in the garage sometimes when it was, too dark or too cold to do it outside. And I always enjoyed it, always, wanted to do little tricks. And I can remember staying out. If I couldn't do the trick, I would stay out until that evening until I could do it. Made sure I went back in knowing that I'd not gone in and not been able to do it.
I'm back up and over this. Too much, now I know what I need. One day I'll be walking through the door.
Many players, and I'm sure there are many players, the whole team is full of great players.
Yeah.
But any players that you maybe didn't know a lot about, or even players that you did know about, that now you're playing with them on the same pitch, and you have moments and think, wow, that person's incredible.
I think I had a discussion actually with Jess about this, about how you maybe don't appreciate certain players until you play with them or until you train with them, and I can certainly say Jess is one of them. Because you see them day in, day out, you see the little things that they do and how good they are. So to be able to see players like Jess, like Bev, who I didn't know much about before. I knew about, Sydney and Pino and, because you see them in the big games, but, I didn't know Bev really at all before I came here. So she's, a really good player and, a complete team player.
Slip away from loneliness. I'm back up and over this. Too much.
Mark's your boyfriend. What do you love about Kim? What do you think he'd say?
I don't know, you'd have to ask him.
Then I'll turn it around. What do you love about him?
I think his self-confidence, probably. He would chat to anyone and get along with anyone he ever met. I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
And you don't feel like you're like that?
No. He's much more confident in that sense than me.
Okay, one more thing. You're very young, so you don't have to really think about this. But some people, you saw the Sid and Pino interview, and here I'm surprised to find out that Sid actually thinks she wants to have kids when she's 26. Where are you on that whole subject? Because I think that's a pressure on women that's different for men.
Yeah, it's a lot different to male athletes because their bodies don't change. So, I want kids. I think I'd like to have a big family, but I wouldn't say I'd put an age on it, an exact age.
And you think that your current boyfriend, what's his name?
Tom.
You think Tom's the one?
Yeah.
He must tell his friends, you gotta see my girl play.
Well, he thinks he's better than me, so... yeah.
Really?
And I always say I'm better than him, but that's just
Well, I think he's got a ways to go. You've accomplished an awful lot. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Scott Levy with Kim Little. I told you you'd learn more about Kim here at halftime. The catalyst really for this Reign team, off to a 6-0 start this season. And Kim Little with a goal in the first half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first 45 minutes here at Moda Health Pitch at Memorial Stadium in Seattle. And the Reign getting that Kim Little PK, and then right there Kendall Fletcher, the deflection looked like it went off the Kansas City defender. That was in the 17th minute. And then FC Kansas City coming back, the penalty kick by Lauren Holiday. Amy Rodriguez was fouled in the box. Back to Fletcher, her goal and the backflip. So you don't just get the goal from Kendall, you get the backflip.
You get the Fletcher
You get
back
the full
flip,
package.
You get your Fletcher flip, and when you've got two professional soccer teams in the city of Seattle, and you've got Obafemi Martins and Kendall Fletcher that both will do the backflip when they score, you know you got something special going.
So 2-1 at halftime here in Seattle. And that sun issue that Hope Solo had to deal with in the first half in goal, the goal facing the west end. You see the sun starting to set, will not be an issue in the second half for Nicole Barnhart. We will take a brief break, just about 1 minute, and we will rejoin you here in Seattle. Rain and the Blues of FC Kansas City returning to the pitch here at Memorial Stadium as we get ready for the second half of NWSL action on this Wednesday evening. Great to have you with us. An entertaining first half as Seattle jumped out to the 2-0 lead, but that late goal, which has FC Kansas City right back in it. The PK by Lauren Holiday in the 44th minute. No changes to either club at the break as we get underway with the second 45 here in Seattle. Let's talk first of all, Leslie, about the Rain. What adjustments do you think Laura Harvey made with her club at halftime?
Just to make more of their chances in the final third, a little bit more mobile, a little bit, I would say, giving up on balls a little bit as opposed to building a little bit more. When they're within 20 yards of the goal, they could do better with some of the possession they've had from 30 yards out and just work for a better shot. They've kind of gone, build up, and then one and done, as opposed to working to create maybe a tap in or something that's got a higher percentage chance of scoring. If you're Kansas City, the way they've played up to this point has served them well, and here they are in a corner right off the bat. So they're kind of business as usual. And again, what I've said about this team that I like is their composure and putting their stamp on how they want to play and how they want to proceed in the game hasn't really changed. Down 2-0, down 1-0, or only down 2-1, and now they've got a chance to tie it up.
And here's Holiday. Bogus nearly got a head on it. It will be a goal kick. Initially, Nikki Phillips getting to that ball, and Bogus tried to get a touch on it, unable to do so.
But
a good threat from FC Kansas City.
Good opportunity for them, and the last thing the Rain want to do is be a little complacent here and let them even this game up, and then it's an entirely different ball game. I think they've got 6 games under their belt, and they cannot let themselves get complacent, look backwards, or look forward. They need to simply concentrate on one game at a time. And I think Laura Harvey, if she was sitting up here, would tell you that their intention is to dominate here at Memorial, and to go on the road and win the games they did is huge, but they want to definitely stake their claim on teams coming in here and being able to do any kind of damage against them.
Sauerbrunn will just escort that ball past the end line. Barnhart with the goal kick. FC Kansas City, with a win tonight, would move into sole possession of second place in the NWSL with 13 points.
Great clearance by Nicole Barnhart there.
Getting some pressure from Foxhoven. A tie would move them into a tie in second place with Portland. Timbers with 11 points. Excuse me, not the Timbers, the Thorns with 11 points after a victory.
The Timbers wish they had 11 points. How many points do they have to?
I haven't checked lately. I know they haven't had the season they were hoping for, at least up to this point, early.
There's time.
In MLS action.
World Cups are coming. Players are missing. It'll be interesting to see how the next month or two pan out.
Miscommunication there, but Amy Rodriguez cleaning it up. Here's Leanne Robinson.
That's a dangerous ball on the ground, hard across the middle, driven in there by Leanne Robinson. I was just about to say that touch and playmaking by A-Rod up front as a target player with her back to goal.
Here's Bogus. And nearly getting a touch on that ball. Looked like it was Merritt Mathias. But Solo in very good position.
But I'm impressed with the form that A-Rod's gotten herself back into. She's scoring goals. She's mobile. Her touch looks pretty solid. And for any woman that's had a child, or for anyone that's been out for an injury for any period of time in any sport, it's just not easy to come back.
Yeah.
And she and Stephanie Cox, kudos to both of them. I mean, they've come back and they've both been in good form in the league so far this year.
Bogus off the post. Solo may have gotten a hand on it. Terrific strike with the left foot by Liz Bogus. Nearly drawing this match even.
They've got them pinned in a little bit to their half now. I don't know if they're sneaking up on them and drawing a little bit higher of a line and sort of disguising their press a little bit.
Sauerbrunn.
But as you see here, they're making it a little bit more difficult for the Rain to play out of the back.
Keelan Winters with the touch to LaRue and back to Winters. Coxhoven heading it over to Bev Goebel. Holiday. Richmond sizing up the pitch.
There you see Jenna Richmond, recent graduate, rookie in the league, just off a outstanding, her best season as a UCLA Bruin.
Which I'm sure you're glad she's no longer there.
Yeah, well, you know, they could get rid of a few others that I'd be happy as well. But all joking aside, you know, I'm happy for her because her career up to that point was okay, but not great. But she made herself a name for herself last year on that team and had a vital role in them winning that national championship.
Little onside. 1v1, the cross, Barnhart right there.
Speed up, and whenever you're ready, you gotta go.
And you hear Vlatko Andonovski in the background, directing traffic for his club. I enjoyed the visit with him pregame. They got in late last night, 8 hours from airport to airport. Didn't have a chance to get on a field here in Seattle last evening. And of course, they've been bouncing all around the NWSL in the early stage of this season, dealing with some challenging travel at times and not the healthiest that they would like to be. Of course, that's the same story for Seattle right now as well. So again, this is where depth and quality, both of these teams have it.
Absolutely.
It's how you try to get through those difficult stretches.
And again, and how your coach manages that, and he's done an outstanding job of, one, I just think in 2 seasons, setting a standard for how he wants his team to be and behave and act. And you're a professional soccer player, and there's 9 teams in this league, and everyone's going to have to travel at some point in time. And the schedule's going to, at times, work in your favor, and other times it's not going to be in your favor. And if you want to whine about it and make excuses as to why you can't play well, then I think you're going to be behind the 8 ball. But if you deal with it and you show up like the Kansas City Blues, like they've shown up tonight, you're going to have a chance to win yourself a game.
So Fishlock committing the foul on her former teammate, Liz Bogus. And a free kick coming up. And I believe just got booked with a yellow.
You know what I would say for a home game tonight for the Reign, and again, coming off an emotional and a huge win on the road against the Portland Thorns last weekend after having been literally on the road and traveling the week before with a few games. It's the one thing that
Holiday chipping it into the box. Winters clears it out.
It's the one thing that I do feel is missing a little bit from the Reign tonight. I think the composure, the steadiness of Kansas City, they've fallen into that a little bit, the Reign have, and they're playing a little bit to how they're setting the tempo. They're letting them lull them into their tempo a little bit as opposed to being aggressive and taking it to them. And the 2-0 lead didn't necessarily help them go up tempo. I think they thought 2-0 were good, and now I don't think they're playing. I don't think they're playing poorly, but I certainly don't think they're playing at the aggressive, attacking, up-tempo style that we've seen the Reign play up to this point.
Is it a playing not to lose mentality possibly?
I don't think so.
Does that get into your head a little bit?
I don't think it's a playing not to lose. I think that, again, I want to give Kansas City some credit. I think that they've kind of, you know, put them in a spot where they've lulled them into playing like this. The defense is still organized. They're not giving them a ton of great looks, but at the same time, on the attacking side of the ball, you haven't really seen much of Jess Fishlock tonight. You haven't seen Bev Goebel on the ball. You haven't seen a lot of combinations up front. And the 2-0 lead maybe got them into a little bit of a, well, this is just, you know, we're going to be okay in this game and we'll get by, which they may still. But with as much time as left on the clock, I think it behooves the Reign to either, dare I say, make a substitution, and not that anyone's playing poorly enough to be taken off, but maybe just change something to give them another spark off the bench and risk a little bit, and maybe because this season is a long season, see what you can see from some other players and just give them a little bit of a lift.
Well, when this team is really clicking, you talked about the combinations, and the Fishlock and Little combination has really been dynamic at times this season. There's not been a lot of that tonight, and again, you tip your cap to Kansas City and what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
As these teams will be playing 1 week from tonight, a rematch in Kansas City. That'll be Seattle's next game.
And on the same note, you would say, depending on how this game turns out, there's good composure. You want to see possession in this half of the field by the Reign. This is where they want to keep the ball, whether it turns into a shot or not. Make Kansas City chase a little bit. Don't give them the ball back so easily, and hold it in the front area of the field.
Richmond, Buzzkowski. Here's Bogus looking for some room, trying to make a run. Ahead to Rodriguez. Well done by Amy to control, and then the pass forward intercepted by Barnes. Looking for LaRue, and off her head to Barnhart. Richmond. Aaron Mathias doing a good job handling the pressure from Keelan Winters.
It's good mobility and good possession by the Kansas City team, just to hold it in the midfield. Try to open them up a little bit on the Reign, who are organized behind the ball, so it's not simple, but they're composed enough on the ball to wait and be patient going forward.
Really good possession right here for the Blues. Very precise passing. And now the switch near touchline. And just as I give them the compliment, a little miscommunication. First substitution of the match. Liz Bogus coming off. And coming on is Erica Timrak, who last year was the NWSL's Rookie of the Year out of the University of Florida. She's been dealing with some low back issues, and Coach Andonovski saying before the match he thought he could get 20 to 30 minutes out of her, and he's right about at that high end. Maybe more like 35 minutes. Well played in the direction of LaRue, and even with Sydney's pace, unable to catch up with that one.
Yeah, and again, a little bit of a direct ball there by Jess, trying to open up the back line of Kansas City, or catch them out, catch them sleeping a little bit. Wasn't able to. They're well organized. That hasn't worked really that well tonight at all. The bread and butter for Seattle is going to be more to build and try to draw them out a little bit and find spaces in between to run in behind.
Ball played toward Little.
The great thing about having great internationals like Kim Scott on the Seattle Reign is that you get a wide viewership and a listenership. And we've got Kirsten 20 at Kirsten Man UFC. Sorry about that this season. But it's 4 a.m. in Kirkcaldy, Scotland. She's tired, but she's on Scott Watch. So
terrific defense by Reed. Seattle looking to counter Ellie Reed. Not sure if she was going with the shot, or
I think she was trying to play a little bit of a bent ball in there behind, just to lay it across the top of the 6 for someone to finish. But that's a good forward run by Ellie Reed.
And it was Foxhoven in the neighborhood. A nice run indeed by number 7 for Seattle, out of the University of Portland, Park City, Utah, Ellie Reed.
That's a mistake there by Nicole Barnhart. You hope she doesn't get punished for that one. Danielle Foxhoven looking to. Got Mariah Noguera and Kate Dynas warming up for the Reign right now off the bench, with Steph Cox and Rapinoe and Carm Moscato sitting on the end, injured still. Those are 2 of their 5 eligible and healthy field players that could possibly make an entrance into the game tonight. And up 2-1, both a little bit more defensive substitutions, Mariah and Kate. So we'll see what Laura Harvey does here in the 58th minute. Neither have really seen time until later in games. Kate probably saw her most minutes last week when she came in the 70th minute against Portland. And I think as the season wears on, just player management, wear and tear on the body management, being able to get people confidence in games when you're winning games is important for the Reign as they build towards a championship.
Goebel, a little strong on the touch, and Kansas City takes advantage. Timrak with some room. Seattle trying to recover defensively. Timrak, left foot, Solo with a save. Very nicely done by Timrak.
Eric Timrak's a pacey player, and she was a ton of fun to watch in the league last year and had some great success. It's a little bit similar. That is a low angle shot. Not going to get that one past Hope very often. If you cut it back and it's onto the foot of a forward running across, maybe. But you better serve there to try to get in behind your player and cut inside or cut it back to your right foot.
And another run for the Blues. Fletcher clears it out. Good defense by Kendall. And a throw-in coming up for Kansas City as Merritt Mathias got into the box. So certainly the run of play here in this second half favoring FC Kansas City. Richmond. Flicked away by Kim Little. Here's Timrak. Again with some room. The shot, the goal!
Super sub.
Wow! What a strike by Emily Timrak, her second goal of the season.
Yeah, Erica Timrak came off the bench, and if she's not able to play 90 minutes, she's certainly going to give you a good 30 or 40. And we've talked about this as the game's worn on here. The Reign have, they haven't really held as much possession as they normally do. They haven't really been dynamic going forward. And this Kansas City team is composed, and they're good enough. They're good enough to beat you. And if you give them the time and space like you did right up the middle there was no one that stepped up to pressure the ball. You're going to get punished for it.
Well, that was
a great strike by Erica Timrak.
World class by the second-year player, former Florida Gator, with her second goal. And we are tied at 2 after Seattle had the early 2-0 lead, scoring in the 17th and 19th minutes. But FC Kansas City regaining some momentum with the Lauren Holiday PK in the 44th minute. That changes everything. And Timrak now has things square. Little's fouled by Jenna Richmond.
And here's what I'd say too, and again, it's a long season and there's things you have to do to continue to win and be a good team, is between the 0-0 draw, which I think Seattle probably would have been fine coming away with a point at Portland, but the good news is they've shown they're a good enough team to hang in and win late, which they did. Now can they come back, in this game, having gone up 2-0 and conceded a 2-goal lead? All these types of situations and things are what you want to see in a season.
Chance here, Foxhoven batted away by Barnhart.
You want to see how your team responds to these types of scenarios and games, and again, both teams are good enough.
First time this season Seattle's given up 2 goals in a match. Now allowed 4 goals this season. And all the momentum with the Blues. FC Kansas City. Timrak trying to play it ahead to Rodriguez. And Seattle right now just seemingly a bit disjointed and trying to find some rhythm on the offensive end.
A little bit of it to me. There's a little bit. Normally we'll see Steph Cox and Ellie Reed going forward a lot more. You haven't seen Kirsten Dahlstrom really get down that left flank as much. Ellie's made a couple runs forward, so the attacking out of the back, they've been stifled a little bit tonight. And again, Jess Fishlock playing in a little bit more of a sitting position. Maybe now at 2-2 you see her link a little bit more, let Keelan sit, and you see Jess start to join with Kim a little bit more with their forwards. But again, these are all scenarios at this point in the season, particularly at home, that you want to see your team tested. And I do think a substitution just to give a different look or a spark off the bench, like Timrak was for Kansas City, is probably in the cards here.
Timrak with the pass over to Holiday, to Richmond now. Buskowski. Lou Barnes out of the back. Playing it ahead, looking for Foxhoven. And bypassing that build up through the midfield that time. Good help defensively is Bev Goebel. Came back, knocked the ball away. Now Bev trying to receive the pass, could not.
The Kansas City bench a little bit more animated than you've heard them all night. Now they smell blood in the water. Now I think before they were going to be happy hanging, not happy, but they were hanging in there. And then maybe the thought of getting a point out of it. Now I think they're definitely
thinking 3.
With enough time left, yeah, they're thinking we got 3 points off these guys, particularly since they've been playing better and better as the season's gone on.
3 would move the Blues into second place in the NWSL behind Seattle. Of course, the Reign also still thinking they can get their 3 points tonight and remain perfect.
First substitution called tonight. Looks like it's going to be Mariah Nogueira, rookie out of, not rookie, I think she was on a roster last year. Mariah Nogueira out of Stanford. It'll be interesting to see what change they make here. And again, typically more of a holding midfielder. She can play center back.
Timrak
taking off the blue penny and handing her substitution card.
Reed. More pressure coming from Kansas City. Here's A-Rod. Sends it into the box. Headed away by Seattle. Winters. Playing it out to LaRue. An opportunity maybe for a counterattack here by the Reign. Little with room in the midfield. Goebel to her right.
What an outstanding
perfect pass. Goebel, the strike. High and wide.
Great
Best
break
opportunity Goebel's had.
And an outstanding ball by Kim Little to play it on the other side of the defender, so that she had to find the ball and the player at the time. And Goebel had a good look at the goal there, maybe a little wide. I think she could have been a little more composed on the ball and taken a cut across her defender to get a better shot off. But outstanding opportunity there for the Reign. Danielle Foxhoven coming off for Mariah Nogueira.
And Mariah Nogueira making her Reign debut. The former Stanford Cardinal coming on, spent last season with the Boston Breakers.
There you go. I knew she was on a team. I haven't seen her for a couple of years.
Well, again, this is the first time we've had a chance to see her. Sadly lost her mother early in this Reign season. There's number 20, Nogueira. Oh, nicely done by Timrak.
So they've shifted here and they've pulled Danielle Foxhoven off the front line and put Kim Little up front and put Mariah Nogueira into the central midfield spot. More of a holding spot. Jess Fishlock will go to the top of that threesome and play underneath, where she, as we all know from last year, did a lot more attacking and defending than she's done this year, kind of more in a link role this year, but has gone up front a couple times. We saw her score a great goal here at home previously in the season. So again, it's just a little bit more of a testament to the outstanding moving parts that Laura Harvey has and the options she has in this lineup.
Yeah, Jess with 2 goals, 3 assists this season. Those 3 assists tied for best in the league with Lauren Holiday. And last season in that role that Leslie described, 4 goals for Jess Fishlock. She was a member of the NWSL's best 11 squad. Free kick coming up for Kim Little in the 69th minute. Looking for Nogueira.
Outstanding in the air, Mariah Nogueira is, but Barney, another Stanford grad, handles that one just fine.
Good job by Barnes taking the ball away that time from Timrak, but Seattle giving it right back. Lou Barnes rock solid defensively this season on that back line for the Reign. The group collectively has been very, very good, but giving up 2 goals tonight for the first time.
I would say just overall, you know, based on whatever their GPS numbers are reading, their heart rate monitors for the rain. There's the bulk of these players have played the bulk of the minutes so far in these first 6 games, and I would say that if there was any trait to this game tonight, I mentioned a little bit lower energy level. They haven't played poorly. They just look like they lack a little bit of oomph as far as their energy level. They look a little bit fatigued.
LaRue trying to chip it ahead to Little. It's it back to Fishlock.
And with Naho missing, and Pino still on the bench, and Steph on the bench still, these are the things that you're going to have to start to kind of fiddle with as the season moves on.
Near touch line, this is Reed. And Timrak now.
This is not a position you want to see this group in. It's a speed mismatch with Keelan and Timrak. It's a speed mismatch with A-Rod.
Gulfstream with some speed, so she'll try to recover on defense. Does. Kansas City still in possession. And no one really there to
good
target with
composure
that
by
pass.
Kim Little to bring the ball down and turn, and look at the quality there.
LaRue played out. Well done that time by Kansas City. Sauerbrunn recognizing the speed of her U.S. national team teammate. Of course, in that last friendly, it was Sydney LaRue who got the lone U.S. goal, which is certainly very sweet for her.
Canada.
Bev Goebel in the box. Double teamed, trying to play it out, but earns a corner.
Good composure there by Bev to earn the corner kick when she was outnumbered.
Good look at number 17, Bev Goebel. Fishlock available for the short corner option.
And this is another one where you have to watch for Mariah Noguera. She's a beast in the air. She gets on the end of this, you're in trouble. Same with Keelan Winters. We saw her bury one a few weeks ago that was dangerous.
Little Barnhart punches it out.
Well beyond her 6. Great job for Barney to come out and bat it away.
Wind starting to pick up a little bit here. 8:30 local time in Seattle. Well defended by the Blues that time. Barnes to LaRue.
Great job holding it up by Sid. Here's the possession you want to see. Front half of the field, switching the ball from one side to the next, building numbers in the front half, and taking some risks to get some players in behind. You see Fishlock making a run.
The defense by Leanne Robinson on Little.
Leanne Robinson's done an outstanding job all night. She's got great 1v1 ability, and you're going to have to do something pretty special to beat her.
Leanne with 3 caps. Hoping to add many more to that total. Little 1v1 with Robinson.
This is what Seattle wants. There's plenty of time left in this game. What they have to protect against is a bad giveaway and a counter.
Nice pass by Reed to Fishlock, just with some room. Deflected away, Goebel. And a corner coming up for Seattle. So another good opportunity for the Reign. Goebel really didn't have an opportunity as the Kansas City defense recovered, preventing a good shot, but another corner kick coming up.
And again, this is what you want to see. Patient build-up, trying to possess the ball and look for opportunities to penetrate and get in behind in the front half of the field. Less long balls from the back, prevent against the counter.
Far post. Barnhart probably could have just caught that ball. Cleared out by the Blues. 75th minute here in Seattle, 3/4 of the way. Actually not 3/4, but I'll work on the math. But it is the 75th minute. Reed was looking for Goebel. Miscommunication there.
Just the Kansas City takes up very good position on their players. They don't sink too far back, but they're ball side, goal side. They read the ball well. They drop when they need to. They step in on balls and pick them off. They're just solid defensively. The combination of Nikki Phillips and Becky Sauerbrunn has been very solid in the center of the back.
Kendall Fletcher scored the first goal in this match. Here's Little looking to create. You can see how good she is when she is on the ball.
It's Kirsten Dahlstrom getting forward.
Fishlock in the box. Good defense by Bukowski. Jim Buskowski doing a very nice job.
Definitely been a momentum shift. Seattle's been in the front half. They've been creating. They've been, putting Kansas City under a little bit more pressure, putting some more numbers forward. And again, there's plenty of time to get the go-ahead here. What they do have to prevent against is any kind of break that Kansas City might have, because we've seen with Timrak, A-Rod, Lauren Holiday, they're capable of getting past you pretty quick.
Into Little.
She's just outstanding in tight spaces.
Dahlstrom. Oh, a nice little chip to create some room. Goebel. Winners. Goal!
What a great ball by Kirsten Dahlstrom, and what a outstanding header and finish by Keelan Winters.
76th minute. Seattle reclaims the lead. The header by Keelan Winters. Second goal this season for Winters.
Be great if you could rewind it all the way back there. You see Keelan tucking it. Anytime you want to head to finish, you head it down and into the corners, and that's exactly what Keelan did. But what you didn't see before that on the replay was Kirsten Dahlstrom getting down the left flank, and not only did she get an outstanding serve off, but the little cheeky chip over the player to get beyond her with her left foot. And I know she's not a natural left footer, and she also played forward in college, so what an outstanding run forward as a left back to get into that forward position and create that goal. Hats off to Dave.
Dahlstrom with the assist. And will that be enough for Seattle to remain perfect this season?
You felt the momentum shift the last 5-10 minutes. We were talking about it. Seattle was starting to press a little bit more and just create a little bit more.
Fishlock ahead to Little. Sauerbrunn defensively. Little. Oh, looking for Goebel. Had her. Well defended that time by the Blues.
Yeah, great idea for a pass. Well intended. Great run by Goebel, but as you said, well defended by Kansas City.
Timrak. And Mariah Noguera takes her off the ball.
And for what Mariah Noguera lacks in a little bit of pace, particularly compared to an Erica Timrak, she does well to recover, get her body between the player and the ball, and had a great takeaway. And she's very technical and tends to keep the ball after she wins it back. She rarely gives it away on an unforced error.
Yeah, Lou Barnes gave it away, and Timrak trying to find A-Rod. It'll be a Kansas City throw-in. Another substitution about to come on for the Blues. Robinson. Buskowski getting it back. Fletcher heads it out. Goebel punches it ahead. And here comes the substitution. It'll be number 10, Frances Silva, coming on for Kansas City.
Standout forward from the University of West Virginia, where she played for Nikki Izzo Brown.
Nia Williams heads to the FC Kansas City bench. Getting a high five from head coach Vlatko Andonovski.
Leaving game number 15, Erica Timrak.
Reed ahead looking for LaRue. Sauerbrunn heading it.
Frances Silva.
Here's Little. Kim Little with Silva defending here, and Silva just coming into the game. Let's see if Kim tries to see how warmed up she is. Well done by Silva defensively. Holiday.
Both of these teams just show a lot of quality and class on the ball, which makes it a fun game to watch. Seattle right now having the better of it and giving Kansas City a little taste of their medicine. Kansas City now having to chase a little bit and defend a little bit more.
Reed ahead. Goebel onside. Keeps the ball in. Reed offering support. Double team on Goebel now as Timrak comes to help defensively. It'll be a throw in for the Reign.
Smart on Bev Goebel's part. 10 minutes left. There's no need to cross it. There's no need to do anything but try to get a restart, either a corner or a throw in for yourself. What you don't want to do is be offside after the throw in.
Yeah. Defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of time left in this game, so there's no, by any means, saying that this is what the final will be. But I will say that if it is, that the tale of this game is going to be, or the storyline, that, you know, a team that's 6-0 and leading the table can clearly deal with a little bit of adversity. They showed it late in the Portland Thorns game, and now they've shown it by giving up a lead and then coming back to go ahead again. And again, it goes to quality, it goes to depth, it goes to their composure, their professionalism, their ability to stick with a game plan.
Rodriguez, dangerous. When you saw her reaction, she expected much more from herself, Amy Rodriguez.
That got a little bouncy at the end and took a little bit of a hop before she tried to strike it with her left foot.
Now, clearly you have to play this match out from a Seattle perspective. As long as A-Rod's on the pitch, Lauren Holiday, we saw what Timrak can deliver from distance.
And you see right now they've got 3, 4, 5, 6 players that are pressing on, and they have to hold those spots. Keelan Winters and Mariah Noguera in particular have to be really disciplined in their positioning as far as how much they support the attack and how much they prevent anything coming forward.
Look at the speed, the pace of Amy Rodriguez coming right after Kendall Fletcher.
Yeah. Hope had a choice there to try to play it out and keep it or to clear it. I don't know if she thought clearing it, she could clear the forward and her own player.
Timrak. Buzzkowski. Holiday goes down. Free kick coming up for Kansas City. And this will be from about 30 yards out.
Lauren Holiday, the sole player standing over the ball for Kansas City. Six runners on the far side of the ball. She's going to have a strike.
Right at Solo. Well struck by Holiday, but Pope right where she needed to be. Sauerbrunn. Buzzkowski. Timrak with the drop back. Richmond, far touch line. This is Silva. And Dahlstrom doing a very nice job running her off the ball. Phillips near touch line to Leanne Robinson. Working on Goebel. Rodriguez.
Kansas City does a great job of going forward, moving with the ball to find little seams and gaps to continue to play forward and be aggressive in their attack down one goal.
Shot by Timrak. Why not after that first strike?
Yeah, she did not hit that one as well as she hit the first one, thankfully, for the rain. But she's dangerous in those areas, and you can't let her have free shots. I think she came on as a sub in a game recently and did about the same thing against the Houston Dash, I believe it was.
Winters looking for Goebel. See if Bev can put a run on it. Robinson's going to beat her to the ball. Oh, and good work by Bev Goebel. Earns a corner for Seattle as she kept the pressure up on Leanne Robinson. It turned out much better than it looked like it would for Seattle.
It'll be interesting. I'm going to guess they're going to go short and try. I don't know if they'll try to hold it in the corner, but I don't think they're going to necessarily cross it and let them counter. We'll see.
Little to take it. Fishlock near her. Goebel. Nogueira with a header. Little. Fishlock putting some pressure on, led to that turnover. And here goes Kim Little, heading for the corner. Throw in for the Reign. Off of Timrak.
Good job defensively by Kansas City, but outstanding job also by Kim Little to get it down in the corner, try to create something out of it. She just got that quick burst and the ball just sticks to her foot.
Ellie Reed.
It'll be interesting to see how much extra time there is at this point. We still have a little over 3 minutes left in regulation, but with 3 second-half goals, I've got to think that there's going to be a few minutes added on, probably 3 to 4, I'd guess.
Well, Seattle right now doing a good job killing the clock down in that corner. Throw in for the Blues. Holiday ahead. Barnes being chased by A-Rod. This chest trap by Goebel, and then LaRue. Nogueira out wide to Dahlstream. '88th minute in Seattle. 3-2 Reign. Seattle jumping out to a 2-0 lead. Kansas City making it 2-1 just before the half. The Blues then tying the match in the 62nd minute, and Seattle reclaiming the lead at 3-2. A header by Keelan Winters just about 12 minutes ago. Throw in again for Seattle. Laura Harvey hoping to have an early birthday celebration. The head coach and GM of the Reign turning 34 tomorrow. Very well done by Kim Little to control that ball. LaRue. Fishlock with some space.
Good bit of skill by Sydney over there to get out of trouble and play a great ball into Fishlock.
Header by Nogueira. Seattle looking to get possession back and work more time off the clock. Winters. Here's Fishlock. Out to her left, LaRue. Dahlstream on the run from her left back position. The cross, Fishlock. Barnhart on the spot.
Great run by Kirsten Dahlstream to get down that left side and put one into the 6 again.
Richmond. Throw in for Kansas City. We're in the 90th minute. Nice switch by the Blues. Headed away from Holiday. Played out to Goebel. 3 minutes of added time. Goebel fouled by Leanne Robinson. I'm sure we'll see a nice slow pace. Up to the ball to take this free kick.
The Reign look like they might be making another substitution as well to run the clock out, take some time off on the walk in and the walk out.
LaRue got ahead on it.
Kate Dynas has been given a substitution card is coming in.
Keelan Winters looking for LaRue. Here Matthias out dueling LaRue for the ball. Fletcher. Timrak. Nicely done by Erica Timrak to create some space, but good recovery defense that time by Ellie Reed, who knocks it out.
I missed it. What's the injury she's carrying? She didn't look hurt to me.
Timrak with some low back pain.
Okay, well.
Trying to create some more
apparently she can
pain
ice
for
it
the Reign
afterwards.
tonight.
Yeah, she looks fairly solid and definitely has made an impact on this game and still continues to be dangerous.
Job well done. Again by Jess Fishlock. She'll come off slowly. Kate Dynas will be coming on. Kate, a former player for Leslie at the University of Washington, a local product out of Issaquah High School, about 20 miles east of Seattle. Richmond. Cleared out by Dahlstream. Phillips.
Between Mariah and Kate and Keelan now, they'll be asked to shore up the center bit of the park as Kansas City throws their numbers forward here to try to create something late in the game in the waning moments.
About 50 seconds left to play. LaRue. Near giveaway. Winters plays it back. Barnhart well out of goal. Get it back into that final third for Kansas City, but headed out by the Reign. Just about 30 seconds left. Reed launching and mishitting, wanted to keep that ball in play. Robinson.
Reign just happy here to just continue to belt the ball forward, belt it out of bounds, try to run these last few minutes off. And again, it'll be a, if this result can hold, a true testament to the quality and the depth and the character of this team, and more importantly, the confidence to know that they can win regardless of what the circumstances. Again, no one ever likes to give up a 2-goal lead. But the Reign didn't really flinch. They held strong, they came back, and that's an outstanding 3 points for this team right there. And you got to give credit to Kansas City. Really well played match, entertaining soccer. They're going to be a team, in my guesstimation, that's towards the top of the league at the end of the season.
Well, you certainly would not be surprised to see either of these clubs finish in the top 4, advance into postseason play. Terrific show they put on tonight as Seattle jumped out 2-0. Kansas City came all the way back to make it 2-2. But again, the game winner coming in the 76th minute, a header. Keelan Winters with the match winner for Seattle.
And I'm happy for Keelan. Last year we watched time and time again a little bit, she and Jess Fishlock both doing so much work on both sides of the ball that by the time they got in front of the goal, they tended to be a little bit fatigued, and Keelan wasn't really putting those away. And now we've seen her score a couple goals already this season that have been outstanding.
I don't know if we can get a shot of the Reign bench. Sydney Leroux apparently injured late in the match. It appears to be something with her right wrist, right hand, but she is, as you can see now, receiving some treatment and certainly in some discomfort. So hopefully not a serious situation for a Reign team already. Missing due to injury, Megan Rapinoe, Stephanie Cox, among others, and also missing due to national team duty with Japan, Naomi Kawasumi.
And after this win, I think it was the plan. And as you see, there's a little birthday cake down on the field. As you mentioned before, Coach Laura Harvey celebrating her 34th birthday tomorrow. I think team has presented her with a birthday cake, and I think they're going to try to get the crowd to sing. I've got a microphone really close to my mouth, so I don't think I'm going to chime in. Tom, feel free.
We were told.
We're quiet now, or we're
we were told this would take place win only. Had Seattle lost or ended in a tie, that they would not present Laura with the cake, at least not out on the field. So Laura Harvey turning 34 years of age tomorrow, and what a terrific job she has done as she's being honored by her team. I thought they were about to break into song right there, but Laura was so busy, Leslie, in the offseason with the makeover of this roster, 10 new players, and it seemed like, if not every day, every other day, as Laura receives her birthday cake, she was making some type of transaction or a roster move, and she certainly showed her value as a general manager. We'll listen in.
Yeah, most definitely.
In addition to coach.
Yeah, and she came into this this franchise and this situation in the NWSL, knowing some about America, the players, the city of Seattle, but without having the complete reins when she first was hired, and then taking over halfway through the season and having the confidence behind her of owner Bill Predmore to be able to give her those reins to make the moves she's made. She's clearly shown with her international experience, her international connections, and the way she watched the league last year, that she knows what she's doing, and she's done a terrific job putting this team together this year.
And she knew Kim Little very, very well.
As she knew Jess Fishlock very well, and those have been definitely two of the stalwarts on this Reign team.
Jess, a member of the Wales national team. Kim, of course, with the Scottish national team, played for Laura Harvey with Arsenal, and first opportunity Laura had to get her with this Reign club, she took advantage of it. And Kim Little getting her 6th goal of the season tonight as she scored on a penalty kick in the 19th minute. It was just 2 minutes after Kendall Fletcher opened the scoring. Lauren Holiday with a penalty kick in the 44th minute, making it 2-1 in favor of Seattle. And then Emily Timrak with a goal of the match. Just a beautiful strike from about 20-25 yards, beating Hope Solo.
Erica,
excuse me, said Emily. My apologies,
no, that's
Erica
okay.
Timrak.
She whacked it. I mean, and again, she's kind of known for that. She's not afraid to strike a ball, and the ball that was fed to her right up the middle, and she turned on it quickly and struck it. That's how you're going to be dangerous in the attack. Catch the other team off guard. No one got up to step on the ball. Hope really didn't have a chance. She flew for it, didn't get it, but credit Erica Timrak with putting the game even and really putting the pressure on the Reign to have to do something special to come back. And
they did with a goal, a header by Keelan Winters in the 76th minute. And then Seattle down the stretch really did a nice job, Leslie, of working that clock, killing some time. Kansas City really didn't get another great opportunity late in the match, but I think you give this Blues team just so much credit with what they did tonight, down 2-0 to a club that's opened the season 6-0 and now 7-0, maxing out at the full 21 points. So Seattle is 10 points clear of second place Portland. Portland winning tonight at Houston with 11 points. Western New York with 10, FC Kansas City remains with 10 points.
Well, hopefully we had a lot of FC Kansas City folk listening and watching and viewing from there, because what an outstanding match between these two teams. I think quality-wise, for me, one of the better matches I've seen in the NWSL over the past 2 years, as far as the tactics, the cleanliness on the ball, the composure to come back, to fight back, to stay in the game and not panic by both teams, to be honest with you. And so they turn around again and play Kansas City right off the bat on their home field. It'll be a barn burner.
Well, the Blues and their fans will certainly look forward to the opportunity, and this really sets a very nice stage for that rematch. Kansas City will have another opportunity to knock Seattle from the ranks of the unbeaten. They're the last unbeaten standing, of course, in the league. But between now and then, they've got some work to do against the Houston Dash 4 days from now on the 18th. So we'll see if Vlatko Andonovski's club can put this one in the rearview mirror, get a win against Houston, and then take on Seattle again in just 1 week. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday evening as Seattle jumps out to the early lead, but had to fight in this one to get the 3-2 victory over a very good Kansas City Blues squad. For Leslie Gallimore, our entire crew here in Seattle, I'm Tom Glasgow. Thanks for being with us from the Moda Health pitch at Memorial Stadium in Seattle. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Bootstrapper, and let it rain.